Good morning. Good Friday morning, April the 11th, 2025. This is Kent with SDG Bible Study. That's the SOLI DEO GLORIA Bible Study. And excited this morning for a weekend coming up and also to be reading God's Word this morning as we continue in the reading from the Everyday Gospel by Paul David Tripp, a daily devotional with reading from the biblical text and also short devotional reading. So we're going to be in 2 Samuel this morning. So let's dive into it this morning. 2 Samuel chapters 22, 23, and 24 this morning. And David spoke to Yahweh the words of this song in the day that Yahweh delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold and my refuge, my Savior. You save me from violence. I call upon Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. For the ways of death encompassed me, the torrents of vileness terrorized me. The cords of Sheol surrounded me, the snares of death confronted me. In my distress, I called upon Yahweh. I called to my God, and out of his temple he heard my voice. And my cry for help, he came, and my cry for help came into his ears. Then the earth shook and quaked. The foundations of heaven were trembling and were shaken because he was angry. Smoke went up out of his nostrils, and fire from his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens and came down with thick darkness under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew, and he appeared upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness canopies around him, a mass of waters, thick clouds of the skies. From the brightness before him, coals of fire were kindled. Yahweh thundered from heaven, and the Most High gave forth his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning, and he threw them into confusion. Then the channels of the sea appeared. The foundations of the world were laid bare by the rebuke of Yahweh at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. He sent from on high. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. They confronted me in the day of my disaster, but Yahweh was my support. He brought me forth also into a broad place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Yahweh has rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. He has recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yahweh and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also blameless toward him, and I kept myself from iniquity. Therefore Yahweh has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness before his eyes. With the kind you show yourself kind, with the blameless you show yourself blameless, with the pure you show yourself pure, and with the crooked you show yourself astute. And you save an afflicted people, but your eyes are on the haughty whom you bring down. For you are my lamp, O Yahweh, and Yahweh illumines my darkness. For by you I can run upon a troop. By my God I can leap over a wall. As for God, his way is blameless. The word of Yahweh is tried. He is a shield to all who take refuge in him. For who is God but Yahweh, and who is a rock but our God? God is my strong fortress, and he sets the blameless in his way. He makes my feet like hinds' feet, and sets me on my high places. He trains my hands for battle, so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. You have also given me the shield of your salvation, and your answer to me makes me great. You enlarge my steps under me, and my ankles have not given way. I pursued my enemies and destroyed them, and I did not turn back until they were consumed. And I have consumed them and crushed them, so that they did not rise. and they fell under my feet. For you have girded me with strength for battle. You have subdued under me those who rose up against me. You have also made my enemies turn their backs to me, and I destroyed those who hated me. They looked, but there was none to save, even to Yahweh, but he did not answer them. Then I beat them as fine as dust of the earth. I pulverized and stamped them as the mire of the streets. You have also delivered me from the contentions of my people. You have kept me as head of the nations. A people whom I have not known serve me. Foreigners cower before me. As soon as they hear, they obey me. Foreigners fade away and come trembling out of their fortresses. Yahweh lives, and blessed be my rock. And let God, the rock of my salvation, be lifted high. The God who executes vengeance for me and brings down peoples under me, who also brings me out from my enemies. You even lift me above those who rise up against me. You rescue me from the violent man. Therefore I will give thanks to you, O Yahweh, among the nations, and I will sing praises to your name. He gives great salvation to his king and shows loving kindness to his anointed, to David and his seed forever. Now to chapter 23. Now these are the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, declares, the man who was raised on high declares, the anointed of the God of Jacob and the sweet psalmist of Israel. The Spirit of Yahweh spoke by me, and his word was on my tongue. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spoke to me. He who rules over men as a righteous one, who rules in the fear of God, is as the light of the morning when the sun rises, a morning without clouds, from brightness of the sun after rain, with the tender grass springing from the earth. Truly is not my house so with God, for he has made an everlasting covenant with me, ordered in all things and secured for all my salvation and all my desire. Will he not indeed make it grow? But the vile men, every one of them, will be thrust away like thorns, because they cannot be taken in hand. But the man who touches them must be armed with iron and the shaft of a spear, and they will be completely burned with fire where they sit. These are the names of the mighty men whom David had: Josheb-Basshebeth, a Tachemonite, chief of the captains. He was called Adino the Eznite, because of the 800 slain by him at one time. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the son of Ahohi, one of the three mighty men with David, when they had reproached the Philistines who were gathered together there to battle, and the men of Israel had gone up to retreat. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary and clung to the sword. And Yahweh brought about a great salvation that day, and the people returned after him only to strip the slain. Now after him was Shammah, the son of Agi, a Hararite, and the Philistines were gathered into a troop, where there was a portion of the field full of lentils, and the people fled from before the Philistines. But he took his stand in the midst of that portion, and delivered it, and struck down the Philistines. So Yahweh brought about a great salvation. Then 3 of the 30 chief men went down and came to David in the harvest time to the cave of Adullam, while the troop of the Philistines was camping in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in the fortress, while the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. Then David had a craving and said, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." So the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate, and carried it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he was not willing to drink it, but poured it out to Yahweh. And he said, "Be it far from me, O Yahweh, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of the men who went at the risk of their lives?" Therefore he was not willing to drink it. These things the 3 mighty men did. Now Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was the chief of the 30, and he swung his spear against 300 who were slain by him. and he had a name as well as the three. Of the 30, he was most honored and became their commander. However, he did not attain to the three. Then Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, mighty indeed, struck down the two sons of Ariel of Moab. He also went down and struck down a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. He also struck down an Egyptian, an impressive man. Now the Egyptian's hand was a spear, but he went down to him with a club and snatched a spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. These things Benaiah the son of Jehoiada did, and had a name as well as the three mighty men. He was honored among the 30, but he did not attain to the three. And David appointed him over his guard. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was among the 30. Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Shammah, the Harodite. Elika, the Harodite. Heliz, the Paltite. Ira, the son of Ikish, the Tekoite. Abiezer, the Anathite. Mabunai, the Hushathite. Zalmon, the Ahoite. Maharai, the Netophathite. Heleb, the son of Benai, the Netophathite. Ittai, the son of Rabbi of Gibeah of the sons of Benjamin. Benaiah, a Pirathonite. Hiddai of the brooks of Gaash. Abialban, the Arbathite. Asmaveth, the Barhumite. Eliba, the Shalbanite, the sons of Jashan, Jonathan. Shammah, the Hararite. Ahiam, the son of Sharar, the Ararite. Alephalet, the son of Ashbai, the son of the Maacathite. Eliam, the son of Ahithophel, the Gileonite. Hezro, the Carmelite. Paray, the Arbite. Agal, the son of Nathan of Zobah. Bani, the Gadite. Zilach, the Ammonite. Naharai, the Bereathite. Armor-bearers of Joab, the son of Zariah. Ira, the Ithrite. Gareb, the Ithrite. Uriah, the Hittite. 37 in all. Now to chapter 24. Excuse me, I may not have to read 24. Hold on. Nope, I do. And again, the anger of Yahweh burned against Israel, and it incited David against them to say, "Go number Israel and Judah." So the king said to Joab, the commander of the military force who was with him, "Go about now through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, and take a census of the people, that I may know the total count of the people." But Joab said to the king, "Now may Yahweh your God add to the people 100 times as many as they are, while the eyes of my lord the king still see. But why does my lord the king delight in this thing?" Nevertheless, the king's word stood strong against Joab and against the commanders of the military force. So Joab and the commanders of the military force went out from the presence of the king to take a census of the people of Israel. And they crossed the Jordan and camped in Aroer on the right side of the city that is in the middle of the valley of Gad and toward Jazer. Then they came to Gilead and to the land of Tatum Hodshi, and they came to Dan Jaon and around to Sidon, and came to the fortified city of Tyre, and to all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites, and they went out to the south of Judah to Beersheba. So they had gone about through the whole land, and they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 20 days. And Joab gave the total count of the census of the people to the king. And there were in Israel 800,000 valiant men who drew the sword, and the men of Judah were 500,000 men. Then David's heart struck him after he had counted the people. So David said to Yahweh, "I have sinned greatly in what I have done. But now, O Yahweh, please take away the iniquity of your slave, for I have acted very foolishly. Go and speak to David." Then David arose in the morning, and the word of Yahweh came to the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, "Go and speak to David. Thus says Yahweh, I'm offering you 3 things. Choose for yourself one of them, and I will do that for you. Do that to you." So Gad came to David and told him and said to him, "Shall 7 years of famine come to you in your land? Or will you flee 3 months before your adversaries while they pursue you? Or shall there be 3 days pestilence in your land? Now know and see what word I should return to him who sent me. Then David said to Gad, I am in great distress. Let us now fall into the hand of Yahweh, for his compassions are abundant. But do not let me fall into the hand of man. So Yahweh sent a pestilence against Israel from the morning until the appointed time, and 70,000 men of the people from Dan to Beersheba died. Then the angel sent forth his hand toward Jerusalem to destroy it, and Yahweh relented of the calamity, and said to the angel who destroyed the people, It is enough, now relax your hand. And the angel of Yahweh was by the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. Then David spoke to Yahweh when he saw the angel who was striking down the people, and said, Behold, it is I who have sinned, and it is I who have done unrighteousness. But these sheep, what have they done? Please let your hand be against me and my father's house. So God came to David that day and said to him, Go up, erect an altar to Yahweh on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. So David went, and according to the word of God of Gad, just as Yahweh had commanded. And Araunah looked down and saw the king and his servants crossing over toward him, and Araunah went out and bowed his face to the ground before the king. Then Araunah said, Why has my lord the king come to his servant? And David said, To buy the threshing floor from you in order to build an altar to Yahweh, that the plague may be checked from being upon the people. And Araunah said to David, Let my lord the king take and offer up what is good in his sight. Look, the oxen for the burnt offering, the threshing sledges, and the yokes of the oxen for the wood. Everything, O king, Araunah gives to the king. And Araunah said to the king, May Yahweh your God accept you. However, the king said to Araunah, No, but I will surely buy it from you for a price, for I will not offer burnt offerings to Yahweh my God, which cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. Then David built there an altar to Yahweh and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. Thus Yahweh was moved by the entreaty for the land, and the plague was checked from being upon Israel. That will conclude our reading, as we'll be moving on to 1 Kings tomorrow. But now for our devotional reading. When it comes to biblical truth, insightful people are those not simply with the right answers, but with the right questions, which lead to the right answers. The Bible is not just a book with life-changing answers. It is also a record of profound questions. In the Garden of Eden, when God asked Adam, Where are you? We're confronted with the fact that something is terribly wrong and the world will never be the same again. Genesis chapter 3, verse 9. Divine image bearers, Adam and Eve, are now hiding from their Creator. Shalom has been shattered. Later, Abraham asked a thunderously important question, appealing for God's mercy. Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just? Genesis chapter 18, verse 25. How about the practicality of this question? How can a young man keep his way pure? Psalms 119, verse 9. Paul's question in Romans chapter 6, verse 1. Are we to continue in sin that grace may abound? Exposes and addresses a significant misunderstanding of the gospel. The questions of the Bible are recorded to expose our hearts, enlighten our minds, guard and protect us, deepen our faith, stimulate a sense of spiritual need and hunger, and move us to love God more fully and deeply. Near the end of King David's life, the poet-musician composes a lengthy and gloriously celebratory song of deliverance. In this song, he celebrates the faithfulness of God's protection. Humbly, David makes it known that his enemies were defeated not because of his independent military prowess and power, but by the almighty presence and power of God. This is not This song is not that of a conquering general, pumping out his chest and saying, "Look what I have done." No, it is a hymn of praise from start to finish. We would do well to stop occasionally and write our own songs of thanksgiving. In the song, David asks the best, most important questions ever. How you answer these questions will determine where your heart goes and how you will then live your life. Who is God but the Lord? And who is a rock except our God? 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 32. For David, these are rhetorical questions. His life is a narrative of the unparalleled majesty and splendor of his God. There is no one like the Lord. No one is righteous like the Lord. No one has power like the Lord. No one is faithful like the Lord. He alone is a rock of surety upon which life and hope can stand. Who is God except our God? The resounding answer is no one. As you encounter this particular question, you must understand that many gods are battling for the rule of your heart. Many lords want to be the Lord of your life. The pool of God replacements is as deep as our wandering hearts and as wide as the creation around us. False gods whisper lies in our ears every day. David's rhetorical question speaks to the heart of the great spiritual war. Who will be your God? May God's grace enable us to give the right answer to this most important question of all. That's going to conclude our reading for this morning. And that is a very important question to be asking yourself this morning. Who will be your God? There is only one God, and he sits on the throne in heaven and reigning in glory and majesty, sovereign king over all and sovereign over your life. Bend the knee to him. Who will be your God? Hope you have a blessed day today, and hope God will be your God today. Soli Deo Gloria, and every day.